If you ever had the urge as a child or as an adult to get in and do like model making, things like, oh, edition 1 of this magazine of building the Titanic or the F1 car is like £1, and then you realise like every other edition is a fiver, and then you've spent 300 quid trying to build something and you've made it into a monstrosity. We've all been there. Mini Maker Make a Thing distills and channels that down into a creative toy that embraces chaos and randomisation. And I think the first thing that I want to say about this game before I dive into the review is that I came into this thinking, oh, cool, we're going to be able to build and create some really beautiful and artistic toys. And yeah, you probably can. And I've seen some good examples in the game, but that's not the intention of what Mini Maker wants you to do. It wants you to embrace chaos. It wants things to be monstrosities. It wants it to be broken and dorky. And it goes out of its way to make sure most of your creations are. But that doesn't belittle all of the freedom and the fantastic way how it allows you to build things together. It reminds me heavily of the creature builder in Spore in many ways, and I'll explain what I mean as we go into the actual review. But I just want people up front to park that expectation of, I'm going to make some absolutely fantastic dioramas. No, you're going to make monstrosities and they're going to be derpy and hilarious. Each of the challenges, and there's loads of them across the game, starts off with like a diorama or a base that you want to build off of. And that could be a portrait of a face, it could be a creature, it could be a landscape, it could be like, here's a plate of food. There's one where there's a dinosaur eating like something off a table and then you get to fill out what's there. Or it could be like a dangerous submarine. Loads of different options, and that's what you start off with. And then you go through 3 different stages of build. The first part of the build is putting on pieces. And these pieces are determined usually by what is the restrictions for this specific challenge. Now, pieces come in different categories. So you could have heads, limbs, danger, wild, food, buildings or architecture, I think it's called, abstract sci-fi, that kind of stuff. And you buy these in a shop from card packs. So you don't know exactly what you're getting. You just know the theme of what you're getting. And then what the game will do is it will pull out from your collection that you've got a selection randomized, so you don't have full choice in what you're getting. And that initially kind of made me go, but once I embraced the chaos, actually it was good fun, because then you're like, what on earth do I build with all of this derpiness? What you'll then do is you'll kind of click and drag them or move them with the controller. I found this game slightly easier with mouse, I must admit. And then you'd kind of be putting them onto your sculpture as you go. The flexibility in how this all works is superb. So you kind of maneuver it around, and you can press and hold the right mouse button to maneuver around the camera as well. And then once you've got it vaguely where you want, you can press in the mouse button, your middle mouse button, and it will change from being able to just maneuver around, but it will kind of spin stuff on various different axes, which is really handy if, say, you've got weapons from a danger and you want someone to hold a sword, for example, or you want to attach a tail, but you're going to do like loads of tails as hair, like Medusa, that kind of stuff. Whatever it is that you want to do, you can kind of rotate it around and change the scale up and down as well, which is great. When you then go to glue it on, the harder and longer that you press the button to glue it on, the further inside the mould it will go. So you can kind of proper wedge stuff in there and start to build out derpy, weird stuff as it goes along. So half the fun was things like sticking out legs out of like sculptures' bums, or like an eye on the back of someone's hand or foot. Eyes in the back of the head seemed to be something that I kept on doing. I don't know. Anyway, but you need to satisfy the criteria of using a certain amount of pieces, and then a key will pop out and it will let you unlock the next layer, or stage rather. And that's around colouring in. Now you get a variety of different tools. They kind of get unlocked, as do pieces or types of pieces. And the final third factor, wow, which I'll get to in a second, you unlock more varieties of these through completing challenges and generating XP and levelling up and unlocking stuff. But you'll start off initially with the colour phase with a couple of different pens. So you can kind of do like an all colour, but then you can get like a thick or a thin pen, choose a different colour palette or colour itself, and then start to draw around and try and shade stuff in. But then you'll start to unlock additional things like spray paint. Then you get like the food gun, which sprays sauce and mustard everywhere. Then there was a burner tool, which gives like a little waffle burn on everything. There was a space like sci-fi painter, which started to make things neon based. There's loads and loads and loads of different things that you can unlock as you go along. And then there was the tattoo reel, where you could start like putting on giant monsters like a heart with mum on and things like that. Again, embrace that chaos, embrace the creativity, and go nuts with it. All of this stuff that you're doing here either costs or generates slime. Or juice, as it is in the game, and you'll get certain things that are called juicy. And as you can see on the tray that gets pulled out on the left hand side of the screen, there's like a juice meter in green next to it. So it constantly replenishes the more that you do. So if you're adding on different pieces or spraying in a certain colour or choosing the juicy pieces, you'll get more and more juice. As that builds up, and some of like the tattoos and stuff like that, it might cost you some juice. That juice is then spent when you enter the third section called Wow. Wow are jiggly pieces that actually move and give the wow factor to your weird and wonderful toy. There's different categories to these. They unlock as you level up by doing challenges and getting more XP. And so it starts off with like some eyes that can blink. It then give you like a snotty nose or a weird like juicy kissy lips in that area. Then you unlock the food stuff with like fried eggs jiggling around or a rubbery hot dog bouncing. One of my personal favourites was all of the different special effects and sparks that were going off. So I started like making flamethrowers out of beasts' mouths, or like smoke out of beasts' bums was another one. Or like a love heart next to a couple of dinosaurs, something like that. All good fun, and they kind of unlock over time, and that wow factor really helps kind of put together some kind of context to some of the stuff that you're building, because sometimes it will look an absolute state, and then you're like, do you know what, if I stick some eyes on it and a face, it looks quite cute and like it resembles a monster. So it really is a get out of jail free card. As you go through these stages, once you hit a certain threshold, it will unlock a key, which you then click on it, and then it goes off to finish. Whenever you finish, you then get to see your final state of whatever it is that you've done, and an example of someone else's that's been uploaded. And one of the kind of only criticisms I have with this game is I would love to be able to see what everyone's creating and have it all upload centrally somewhere so that you could have a browse. It is literally the only thing missing from this game, because everything up to this point is absolutely hilarious. There's also, though, some other interesting stuff going on at the same time. So as you'll have seen from all of this gameplay, like there's moments where things are absolutely flying about on the screen everywhere. And these are enemies or collectibles. The collectibles are things like the juice, the green spodgy bits, or the money, or the white kind of like coiny tokens. They're your two currency for buying either new pieces or card packs, which I'll get to in a second. But everything else is an enemy. Now, enemies aren't enemies in this game in the normal sense, but different emoji type things as they fly onto the screen, as they touch your toy or diorama, they do different things. So some might chisel a hole in it, some might place like nuts and bolts and screws in it. Some of it might then start painting it in a different area, or splodging or exploding on it so that it's then got like a burnt out section. And sometimes they're kind of spin on stuff, giving it all of the randomization and chaos that I keep referring to in this game, actually makes your thing look way, way better. So there's sometimes an incentive to just let the chaos reign and see what happens. And if it does, you can just paint over the top anyway. The reason why you might want to click on these and get rid of them is that quite often they then explode into more currency. So it's a very quick way of being able to build up your bank balance so that you never run out of problems in the shops buying more cards or pieces. So what are cards? Cards are essentially permutations that allow you to bring in extra special things and earn more XP, which as you level up unlocks more palettes for your colour, more piece types, more wow factors, more stickers, tattoos, all different kinds of things, or special guns for doing things, for painting, that kind of stuff. So it's again in your interest to just keep on playing through, but you can use these cards to boost your XP multiplier as you go along. Some of them are quite cool, and it's just like changing the background. So you can have it so that you're just playing in like a coffee shop or in your bedroom or on a beach. Then there's some other things around the mood, which is about whether or not you want to get rid of all the enemies or have like a 3-piece challenge where you only get given 3 pieces over and over again. Or it could be that you've got like piece roulette. So it means that you have to see kind of what's going on, or you're not able to know exactly what it is that you're placing in the wow section before you actually do it. So again, embracing that chaos and wonder. The other thing that's really cool is that you can then get very specific things in these cards as well. So it's the only way how you can get like the food gun or the sci-fi gun for painting food and mustard and sauce everywhere, or sci-fi objects. Or it could be that it's going to like double the XP of all of your headpieces, or it says you must have 5 heads. One of my favourite permutations in this though is the one where it says that you've got to follow a blueprint. And what this does is it places various different anchor points around the screen that you then build up to. So it means that you're kind of building a weird and wonderful structure, having to satisfy certain criteria, because the beauty of Mini Maker Make a Thing is that it's up to your creativity for what you do. There is no good or bad here. So long as you're able to complete something when you get to a boss battle within a timer, it can look an absolute state. It doesn't matter. It's part of the fun and the creativity, so you can't really lose unless you fail the time limit for those boss battles, and they're only in the boss battles. There is multiplayer. You can do 2-player co-op on this. Haven't personally tried it, but I bet it would be an absolute blast to do. And yeah, I can't say enough great things about this. It doesn't take itself seriously, and once I stopped taking it seriously, but fully embraced just the robustness of the control system here. Yeah, you're making absolutely derpy stuff, but the controls are on point and solid. And so many other diorama or builder or maker games could learn so much from how this is put together. So yeah, 2 thumbs up from me. Niche, weird, fantastic, crazy, chaotic, but I love it. Written review over on higherplanegames.com. Any comments or questions, leave them down below. Take care. Higher Plane Games is part of the Higher Plane Network, a completely independent media outlet supported by people like you. The goal is to create the best possible content that cultivates a richer indie scene for games as well as music and entertainment. To find out more and to get involved, visit patreon.com/higherplane-network. Your support makes all the difference, and in return you'll gain access to bonus content and downloads. Thank you for watching.